Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at real estate, but maybe not how you usually think about it. It's really shifting, isn't it? Beyond just buying property, we're talking about turning it into a real engine for lifelong wealth. And that involves strategy, tech, and interestingly, impact.
Absolutely. And a lot of what we'll discuss today draws on the thinking of Dr. Pooyan Ghamari. He's a Swiss economist, founder of the A-Land platform. His point is, looking ahead to 2025, successful investors aren't just picking spots on a map. They're mastering digital tools. They really understand the economics, and they're building brands people trust.
Right. So our mission here is pretty clear. Give you that shortcut. How do you actually turn property investments into income streams that, well, last? Let's start with that strategic framework Dr. Gamari talks about, this data-centric global approach. He says real estate operates in these integrated digital ecosystems now. What does that mean on the ground?
Yeah, think of it like having incredible foresight. Platforms like A-Land, they use AI analytics. But it's not just general trends. It's about predicting, say, the best quarter to sell a specific type of building in maybe Berlin, or exactly when to buy in another market. It really sharpens your timing for acquisitions for exits.
Okay, so the tech gives you that precision.
Exactly. But, and this is crucial, you have to overlay that with the big picture economics. Interest rates, inflation trends, even geopolitical shifts. Those things really drive where the money flows and what people demand. The tech insights need that context to become truly uh, actionable strategy.
That makes sense. Precision plus the wider view.
Now, you mentioned something earlier that caught my ear, cause-related marketing. Is this just, feeling good about your investment, or does it actually move the needle financially?
Oh, it definitely moves the needle. It's a financial multiplier, no question. When you embed social responsibility into projects aligning with ESG principles, that's environmental, social, governance, it's not just optics. It seriously boosts the brand's value.
Well, think about tenants today. Many are actively looking for sustainable, community-focused places to live or work. So strong ESG can mean lower vacancy rates.
Hmm.
And investors, they're increasingly mandated, or just prefer, to put capital into responsible assets. Platforms like Ayland even have marketing tech to help developers tell that impact story authentically. It builds trust, and that trust translates to better financial performance. It's smart business.
Okay, so impact is definitely a tangible factor. What about the mechanics of it all, especially with this global digital focus? We're getting into some really new financial territory here, aren't we?
We really are. And tokenization is a huge part of that. The traditional barriers in real estate, needing huge amounts of capital, assets being hard to sell quickly.
Yeah, the illiquidity problem.
Exactly. Tokenization kind of shatters that. It lets you create digital shares of a property. So instead of needing millions to buy a building, you could own, say, a tiny fraction of it digitally.
Like owning stock in a building.
Sort of, yeah. It opens up access to way more people, makes these traditionally illiquid assets tradable, almost like stocks, and just speeds up getting capital into projects.
That is a fundamental change. And it's not just tokenization changing the game, right? You mentioned crypto innovations, too.
That's right. Take something like Gold. It's a digital asset backed by actual gold. Think about international property deals.
Yeah.
Normally, you're dealing with currency risks, slow bank transfers.
Right. Cross-border payments can be a headache.
Well, Gold acts like a stable digital form of payment. It cuts down currency risk because it's gold-backed, and it can make international transactions happen in minutes, not days. It bypasses a lot of the old friction. So it complements traditional real estate investment by adding flexibility and security.
Okay, this is a lot to take in. So let's bring it back to our listener. After hearing all this, what are the practical steps? What should you actually do?
All right, let's boil it down. First, you really need to leverage the tech. Platforms like A-Land for analytics for the digital marketing side. Second, integrate ESG and that cause-related marketing. Don't treat it as an add-on. Make it core to your strategy. Third, look seriously into tokenization. Fractional ownership can help diversify your holdings and makes things more liquid.
Okay, tech, impact, tokenization.
Fourth, explore using crypto-backed assets like Gold we mentioned, especially for streamlining those cross-border deals securely. And fifth, maybe most importantly, keep your finger on the pulse of policy and economic trends. Immigration rules, trade policies, interest rates, they all impact demand and capital movement. You have to stay informed.
And I guess track everything, right? You need to know if this stuff is actually working.
Absolutely. Track your outcomes. What's the ROI on your impact marketing? Are tenants staying longer? Are people engaging? How are those tokenized assets performing? The data proves whether your strategy is effective.
So it's clear that really grabbing the wealth building opportunities in real estate now, for 2025 and beyond, needs these forward thinking approaches. It's not your parents' property market. The
Hmm.
tools, the strategies, they're evolving fast.
Which leaves you with a really interesting thought to consider. How will embracing these new technologies, the AI analytics, the tokenization, these crypto-backed assets, how will that fundamentally change your understanding and your approach to owning and investing in property from here on out?